Hey YouTube, Mickey. Vikings and the tools, the survival tools they used to bring with them on their epic journeys. I love it, man. I love Vikings, the series. Absolutely loved it. I'll probably watch it again, the whole thing. I love the tools they had. I love their epic journeys, their epic battles and all that kind of stuff. And it's just cool, isn't it? You know what I mean? I know they've got the evil kind of side, this and that, but let's put that aside. Myself, I am from Slavic descent. My parents are from Slovakia, former Czechoslovakia, right next to the Ukraine, just below Poland, just above Hungary, if you don't know where it is, and next to Austria. The Slavic traditions and tools are very similar to the Vikings. That's why I really enjoy that kind of old way of survival and the tools they used. So, you know, the Slavic symbols are very similar to the Viking symbols. The pagan belief was very similar, just gods were depicted in different ways and called different things, obviously. But anyway, but to me, and you'll see in the video that the axe, and you know, obviously you may know this, but the axe was the main tool that the Vikings loved to have and use. It was a weapon. It helped them make their shelters, helped them construct their boats, helped them hunt, do everything. The axe was one major tool, and that's why I love my axe too. And that's why I carry my axe with me basically every time I go out bush. I don't carry it on my person, on my belt per se, because my pants just slide off my ass. But I will, you know, sometimes I put a shamag around my waist and slip it in between that, or slip it in between my belt, my waist. I find that a lot more comfortable, and I find my pants don't slide down my ass. So I carry an axe and I love it. I think this is a hunter's axe. It does say classic on the handle. It's a Holtifers, but I believe it's a hunter. So I've got that. I've also got my PUUKO. It's a Finnish knife. I don't know the brand, sorry. I do, but I can't see shit with my glasses that I'm wearing at the moment, but I'll put a link to it. But this is a great knife. It's light and it is deadly sharp. So again, it's a slicer, dicer, food processor, all that kind of stuff. So this coupled with the axe, perfect. Adding a saw, even better, a silky or something like that, awesome. I don't have a silky. I'm going to buy one actually, hopefully very soon. I also a lot of times carry this knife. It's a Joker SWAT, full tang. I think the blade is just shy of 4 inches, but this is a knife I've had for many, many years, and I've used it quite a bit. Again, slicing, dicing, cutting, food processing sometime in regards to game. I mean, I like cooking my roasts, you know, when I go camping sometimes, you know, if I'm doing it overnight or multiple nights. And this just, it's like knife through butter when it cuts through that meat. So, very good knife. So I carry that. I change out my knives quite a bit. I've got so many knives, I just sometimes, it's like undies, socks. I'll wear this today and go out and venture the world. And then I do carry this larger knife with me sometime also. Again, it's heavy though, you know, so I don't like carrying heavy things on me. But I mean, a large knife does have a purpose. This is full tang. Again, I don't know what the knife is called. It's Spanish made, that's all I know. But it's a great knife. It's very, very sharp. And look, I could chop with it. Definitely could baton with it, but I'd rather do all that with an axe, man. I like keeping the edges on my knives always sharp. I'm constantly stropping my knives every time I use them out bush, so it's just me. I've got a bit of OCD with that. But it's a large knife, and if I lost everything and had that on my belt, it does have a few items in the sheath, which I'll go through on a separate video. But yeah, if I kind of lost my backpack and for some reason lost my axe and had that big boy on me, and I always carry a Swiss Army knife, I'd be happier than having none of that. So anyway, let's dive into the video. It's very interesting, actually. It doesn't go too long. I know my other videos have been like 10 minutes and stuff like that. This is about 3 minutes and a bit. So sit back and enjoy. Cheers.
Fierce, fearless, and far-travelling, the Vikings carved a path through history, from the icy fjords of Scandinavia to the shores of England, the rivers of Russia, and even the coasts of North America. But how did they survive these harsh journeys? Let's take a closer look at what the ancient Vikings carried with them. The Vikings were not just raiders. They were farmers, explorers, traders, and settlers. Whether sailing into battle or setting off to find new lands, survival was always on their minds. Every tool, every item had a purpose. Vikings rarely left home without weapons. These weren't just for combat. They were essential survival tools. Axe, their most iconic weapon, perfect for chopping wood, building shelters, or fighting. Sea axe, a small knife used for carving, skinning, and eating. Spear, lightweight and versatile for both hunting and war. Shield, wooden and round, used not only in combat, but as sleds, makeshift shelters, or stretchers. Survival in the cold north required layers. Vikings dressed smartly with materials that repelled water and retained heat. Woolen tunics and trousers for insulation, cloaks of sheepskin or fur fastened with brooches, leather boots often lined with fur, caps and gloves made from animal hides. These weren't just for show. They helped Vikings survive brutal winters and long sea voyages. Food preservation was key. On long journeys, fresh food wasn't an option. Dried fish and salted meat like lamb or pork were staples. Hard bread or flat cakes were also common. They carried grains and legumes for hearty stews. Ale or mead stored in wooden barrels was safer than untreated water. Dried berries and nuts provided essential nutrients. Cooking was done in iron pots or with flat stones near the fire. Vikings were legendary sailors. Without modern navigation, they used various tools and methods. Sunstones, crystals like Iceland's spar, detected the sun's position even on cloudy days. They memorized landmarks and stars, recognizing coastal features and celestial patterns. Waterproof cloaks and tarred leather bags protected their gear. Buckets, paddles, and plugs were used to manage leaks on ships. They carried rope, nails, and spare sailcloth for emergency repairs. Vikings didn't just raid, they traded across Europe and Asia. Their survival kits often included beads and silver coins for barter, small tools like combs, tweezers and ear picks, Thor's hammer pendants for protection, needles and thread for clothing repairs, and rune stones or carved amulets with personal or magical inscriptions. On land, Vikings made camp with wool blankets and animal hides, tent frames and sails repurposed from ships, cooking tripods and pots, fire-starting kits with flint, iron and dried tinder fungus, and wooden bowls, spoons and drinking horns. They could set up quickly, whether raiding a coast or exploring a new land. Survival for the Vikings wasn't just about gear. It was a mindset. Endurance, skill and community kept them alive. Every item they carried, every piece of clothing they wore, every boat they built was about thriving in an unforgiving world. From Greenland to Baghdad, the Vikings made their mark on the world, and they did it with gear that was simple, effective, and perfectly adapted to their way of life. Their survival wasn't luck, it was skill, preparation, and an unbreakable spirit. Subscribe for more ancient survival stories, and don't forget to pack your axe.